gentlemen, boys and girls, cardaholics of all ages, welcome back to BGS Cards, and thank you so much for watching. Today on Talkin Cards, I thought I would do, I don't want to say it's a tutorial, but things that you should really consider before you submit a card for grading. So I've done grading one time. I shared the results way back when this channel was very early, and it was a couple of Pikachus actually that I got graded. And there's a lot of cards that I have in my collection now that I am considering grading. And I've kind of thought about like, okay, there are certain things that I want to do to make sure that the card that I'm sending off is actually worth sending. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would go through some things that I did with the Pikachus and some stuff that I'll do with these cards and kind of give you a tutorial of what you should do, what you should look at before you ever even fill out the submission form to actually get a card graded. So for this video, I'm going to use this card as the example, CJ Stroud Bowman University Image Variation. This is actually a card I am considering grading. So I thought it'd be a great example. And the first thing that I do, and it's especially true with Chrome cards, is I'll take it out of the penny sleeve. So pardon that glare there. But I'll start by looking at the surface to see if I can see any kind of scratches or marks to see if it's really worth sending. So you'll notice on the right side of the card, you can see some surface marks. So I don't know if that's a print line or if that's just a smudge. So what I do is I have a microfiber cloth. You have to, if you're gonna do anything with your card, you would make sure it's microfiber because that does not damage it. So I will just gently start in the middle, and I'll actually get it in the hand thing that I actually use, and I will just gently wipe to the outside. By wiping to the outside, you're preventing any kind of damage from happening to the actual like edges, the corners, and sometimes I'll put a little extra on there. And as you can see, maybe you can't, the scratches are still there. So if I were to submit this for grading, which I'm glad I did this as the example card, it probably would get some marks off on it. So probably end up not going to send it for grading, but that's okay because this video told me that I shouldn't do it, right? So you're going to check the surface first. So I actually use my camera light. You can use a flashlight, any kind of high powered light, and you're just going to want to move, I put it back in the sleeve, but you're just going to want to move the card all over so you can just make sure that you're not seeing anything. And the same thing would be true of the back. Sometimes there's indentations in the back that you can't see. So that's one thing that I do. The next thing I do is I check the centering. Now, sometimes you can eyeball it. With that Tony Gwynn Downtown, it's very clearly off center, right? But sometimes, especially with like 2022 Bowman stuff, it's very difficult to tell. So I'm not sponsored by these people, but I actually bought this card or this thing off of eBay before I submitted the Pikachus. And you may not be able to see it here. There we go. It's called an Original Grademaster Card Centering Tool. I got this on eBay for, I want to say it was like $15. And what you do with it is you put the card underneath and you get it lined up like that. And you can actually check the centering of the card. So there's little lines, and you're going to want to make sure that it's actually really, really even in order to know if it's centered. So like this, and I might have to pull it off camera to check for myself because it's kind of difficult to see the way I'm recording. But from the look of it, the single line, the second one in is 3, and same thing on the other side is a 3. This card looks very on point as far as centering goes, based on the third line in on both sides. So you can compare that to this chart that they include, and you can get a sense for what like percentage of the ratio the centering is, both left to right, top to bottom. So you can do the same thing with the top to bottom centering. Again, it is difficult to do if there's like very few borders, but by looking at it on this angle too, the top and the bottom are very, very clearly close together with the 3 and the 3. So centering, especially with like Beckett and PSA, it can be a killer as far as the grade goes. So I would highly suggest getting this Grademaster tool. They are available on eBay for, I think it was $15, but if you're going to be submitting a bunch of cards for grading, well worth the money, in my opinion. So you check the surface, you check the centering, and I'll pull the card back out again, check the edges, and check the corners too. So I don't have a magnifying glass. I'm not really going to be able to zoom in on anything, but we're looking to see if there's any kind of damage to the corner. And over here, it looks like there's like just a tiny little bit, I don't want to say it's flaking, but like just a little bit of difference there. I don't know if you can see that, but it does look like just a little bit different. So compared to this corner, this one's very, very flat. This one has just the slightest bit of like a lift up right there. And then if we go to this side here, it does look very flat on both. With the edges, the same thing there. You're looking to see if it's flat, if there's anything protruding from the sides, or if it's like a little ruffled on the edges. Before you submit any card for grading, you want to check it over very, very carefully. Don't just pull it out of a pack and assume that it's going to be a 10. It might not be. And then you're going to be really, really disappointed or upset and be the person who complains about the grading online. So if I were to have submitted this CJ Stroud, I don't think it would have gotten a 10. Because if you look at that bottom left corner, the bottom right corner, and then those little tiny surface marks, it probably wasn't going to get a 10 if I submitted it for grading. But that's okay. By me knowing this, I'm not wasting my money sending this off and getting it at an 8 or a 9, and then not being able to get as much for it as if I were to sell it as a 10. So I just saved myself time and money by not submitting the CJ Stroud. There are other cards that I actually did a check over on my Gold Acuna auto from 2021 Chrome Update. The card looks pretty much perfect. So that is a card at some point I am going to send in for grading. So my overall encompassing thing that I would say in this video, number one, do your look through on your card. Look at your card very carefully. Get a cheap microfiber cloth. Get one of these Grademasters. If you really want to, get a magnifying glass just to make sure that you're really looking things over. But do your diligence on your cards first, because you will be very disappointed if it comes back at a grade you didn't expect. I just, again, got to save myself some time and money. I'm not going to submit this CJ Stroud. It was worth it. I'm not upset. I can still sell it raw and disclose the stuff that's wrong with it and can still get some money for it, right? So it's worth it to look over your cards before you send for grading. If you're not sure you have the tools necessary to do it, ask a friend. You know, again, these things, these Grademaster things, again, I'm not sponsored, but these are awesome. Highly suggest getting one if you do a lot of grading or are planning to do some. A microfiber cloth, this came with like my eyeglasses. So of course I'm gonna, you're gonna have a couple of those lying around. But also those are really cheap too. And then just take the time, look over your cards, have somebody else look it over to make sure that you're not missing anything, and look through things at different angles and different lights. Those are what I would say as the watch this before you grade your cards advice, and I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe. We are so close to 1,000. I can almost taste it. I already announced the first prize that's going to be up for grabs is a Jake Plummer Genesis from Mosaic. I have more cards that I'll be giving away as part of the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Stay tuned for that. And if you want to see what they are, help me get to 1,000. Leave a like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye-bye.